So I'm using my phone.
Okay.
I
did that too because the issues were plenty. Because the last time we did this, I had an echo. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because the last time we did this, I had an echo, and then I got the audio from you, and the only thing I got out of your audio was you. Was brilliant.
Really?
Yes.
So,
I'm sorry.
So let's try those intros again now that we got the Nemo fish back.
All right, so we're gonna do the intro part number 2 with our friend from a mountain somewhere, Draconath.
Somewhere. Is right.
All right. Then we got the fish from down under, Nemo.
G'day.
Oh, see, now he's gonna do it completely. The myth, the legend, the wild drunk half Jew, PeninaChan.
Hey.
See, I'm not gonna get rid of that. I'm sorry. I just love messing with you with that one. And then we have
the half Jew.
The half Jew. Better than no Jew. I don't have a lot of Jewish friends, and the ones I do are non-Jews, but they look like really cool Jews. Because I have one buddy who looks like a Jewish boy, but he isn't. He's Protestant, and he's my favorite non-Jew. Anywho, the troll that is and the weirdo fanatic that I am the Canadian rogue, better known as Robert Kumitz for all those weirdos. Again, I am the spectral host with the most, with the rest of our friends here. We're kind of chit-chatting about bullshit that happened through the course of, what, a week?
Pretty much.
That's right, Mr. Peabody.
Oh boy, let's go back in the way back machine, people. We're going to go to what happened with Donald Trump and the NFL. So we all know for those who...
You kind of have to say it with a little bit of a higher pitch there, Nemo. Sure thing, right, Mr. Peabody.
Quiet.
For those who've been buried under a rock or pretty much hidden in a cave or in a fallout shelter, apparently Donald Trump, in a rally, kind of said a few not choice words, but put a divide between himself and his followers and the NFL. For those who are kneeling during the anthem and that. So pretty much, while Trump was on stage, he pretty much stated, quote, "Wouldn't it be nice if the owners would, do something about those players that bend the knee, fire them or something."
Wouldn't it be nice if we could...
But it gets better. It gets better.
Oh, it does?
It always gets better
yes.
with Donald Trump.
Of course. So we all know that the left really hates Donald Trump, and the extremists even hates him even further. So what they did, what did they do? They took that initial kind of conversation that he was having at a rally and amplified it to, I don't know, 1 million. And pretty much sided with Colin Kaepernick and the others that are bending at the knee, which is mostly black folks, saying it's their patriotic right and it's, they have the ability to do blah, 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 regardless of the factor. Colin Kaepernick is bending the knee simply because of the factor that he hates the anthem and he hates the flag. He's already stated that. He's on record in 2016. The rest of these people who are doing it, thinking that they're doing it against Trump, that, America is still racist, it's sexist,
misogynistic,
whatever the ists you want to throw in.
Every ist on the planet, except for maybe atheist.
Correct. Before we continue, Drago, can you turn yourself up just a little?
Sure, I can turn myself up.
No, it's just for whatever reason your side of the audio sounds like you're like far away from the mic.
How about now?
A little bit better. It could be me. I want to just double check. I'm gonna look at the Twitch stream. Looks like you're picking up well. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Trying to make sure everything's working.
I'm at 100 now, so.
Wow, that's even spookier when you do that.
Oh,
God, I miss
silly people.
I miss my thing. I'm gonna have to.
Your thing?
Yeah, my modulator. I miss my modulator thing. Not that kind of thing that other guys miss, or don't miss. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Depends on what they miss.
Yeah, only Caitlyn Jenner misses his thing.
That's a
Did it
questionable.
one time.
Yeah. So anywho, long story short, so now there's a divide between most of the Americans of whether they should take a knee or shouldn't they take a knee. Long story short, there was a poll that was taken a while back, and well, 85% of the majority of Americans think it's stupid for people to, take a knee.
Take a knee.
So please stand up for the fucking anthem, and now, as we've gotten to today, the NFL and the players seem to be losing. Trump is winning the cultural war. They are now backpedaling their asses to a point where now they're standing and linking arms.
Well, my favorite one by far has to be the actual argument with the Steelers. They had to back them up because their fans went holy shit balls, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, all the Steelers, basically all of the Steelers team, their excuse was they didn't want to be part of this. Whether they figured
agreed with it or not.
Whether they agreed with it or not, they didn't want to be a part of it, so they kind of just said, fuck it, we're staying in the tunnel, we're not even coming out, except for one guy who's ex-military.
Yeah, the ex-military guy put his hand on his heart and stood in the middle of the thing, and it's god damn, that's so sad that that's the opposite of what's supposed to happen, where everyone stands out with hand on their heart. I'm not saying you have to, but maybe you're supposed to.
The man in question that we're talking about here is Alejandro Villanueva. He pretty much, he threw his teammates under the bus unintentionally by standing for the national anthem. That was his apology.
Yeah. I don't think he's threw him under the bus.
Here's the weird thing. Other Steeler players are now backing him up by saying, well, I don't think he was at the wrong. He does have the right to stand for the national anthem. We, on the other hand, were behind stage in our locker room standing for the national anthem, so they say. If you were standing inside a locker room, why couldn't you be standing in front with this guy as well who, is your teammate? Speaking of Villanueva, he ended up unintentionally. After that, number 78 is now one of the top, at the last time I looked, was one of the top jerseys being sold. He actually is tied with Colin Kaepernick and may overtake him.
Wow. It seems like people care more about the anthem than they do. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I was going to add one thing. I'm surprised that once he stepped out, no one followed him. That seems to me like a real shitty move.
You want to know what? You want to know what? It's okay. It's okay because DirecTV has basically said any of those who have bought the NFL package, they're going to refund. So there's been a mass exodus of those NFL packages from DirecTV. I'm wondering if Comcast will follow suit. I guess we'll see. And then JP Morgan & Chase seems to have told the NFL, we don't agree with you guys not standing for the national anthem. And there was another advertiser. It was a smaller business does business in 28 or 29 states, who basically pulled all of his advertising and said, I don't want any of my business's ads playing during any NFL games.
Yeah, the NFL is getting really, there's a level of a lesson being learned.
It's a miniature adpocalypse. Because here's the problem with the adpocalypse on YouTube is the people who are got I guess the real power, which is unfortunately old media still, I guess they have more say in this. And once you see this in the NFL, an adpocalypse there, I guess it affects more of the culture. Can you see more of what the people really think? And you don't really get that with YouTube. Because I'd like to connect it back to that to go to our next. Yeah.
You can't play politics. People don't like the politics in their hobbies. This should have been clear as of Gamergate, but apparently the message didn't sink in, and definitely not to the wider spread general public. Now, oh my god, it's in NFL. We don't like this.
Well,
we respect your right to protest, but you're not at a football game to protest. You're at a football game to play.
play the game.
To play the game.
Now,
If you protest, okay, the argument could say if you protested on your own time outside of the games, no one can really fault you. Some people still won't be happy, but that's not the point. People are not paying to see you take a knee, especially during the national anthem. That's not your time. You're being paid to play a freaking game. Stop bringing politics into it.
true.
Agreed.
Speaking of taking the knee in politics, Milo and his freedom thingy was canceled. His freedom speech week.
Whatever it is. I don't know, man. I'm a bit like. Let's go into a bit more detail. I'll give my thoughts on this, but like,
well, there wasn't too much detail. Basically, it was canceled because the provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos pretty much was told that the event was canceled due to a little bit of a pushback and some threats and a few other things, so they had to cancel it.
can I add because I'm going to be a bit of a contrarian here. I usually like Milo Yiannopoulos, but this time I think he was kind of full of shit. A lot of people thought that this was going to be cancelled well before then, and let me just add this as well. A lot of people he said that were coming to this periodically said they weren't coming.
Correct.
You know, and that's where I get a bit like, okay, I'm sure Berkeley didn't make it easy for him. I'll give him that. I'm sure Berkeley didn't make it easy. However, did Milo let this be cancelled because he didn't want to have egg on his face from having a shitty event where half the people who were claimed to speak didn't show up?
Well, it's true, but because what happened afterwards, after this thing was canceled, he pretty much had a rally for about an hour of him doing a speech and a few other things, if whoever was there.
That's not a week, though, you know?
No.
He should have given everyone that came there a really good consolation prize, and he kind of didn't. He kind of fucked up, and there's a million other ways he could have had that speech still run through that he chose not to do. I'm just putting it out there, you know? Yeah. He acted like this was going to be a huge event, and the fact that it got cancelled in the last minute, he could have found another solution, and he chose not to.
Yeah, no, that's just
having some event that was worse would be better than having no event. I don't call 1 day, 1 hour an event. That's not the same.
No.
When you promise a week.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit more scamming going on here than allegedly hatched people than was going on.
Well, we really don't know what's going on. We don't know exactly what the entire thing entailed, but really,
and we never will.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly it. At the end of it, we won't know. And unfortunately for that, we just have to take his word for it. But the provocateur was...
And I'm being a bit more dubious, because he's done this more than once now, where he's claimed something, he's promoted it, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it gets cancelled. And I know, ever since I saw him on Bill Maher put on the full Liberace act, I can't really respect him as much as I used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's changed my views of him completely. I still appreciate everything he's done for the move, for Gamergate, and for everything else, and I still think he's a very entertaining character, but I don't know if I necessarily trust him anymore.
Well, again, I don't blame you for not trusting him, because though he's very entertaining and very interesting, like Ben Shapiro and a few others, I'm on the same kind of fence to a point, kind of going, there's something about him that just, he gives off this sliminess to a point. And even though he claims himself as a provocateur,
Yeah.
he still kind of pushed the right-wing narrative to the max because he is siding with Spencer.
Yeah, well, and as I said, like, what, 12 months ago you were saying he was against gay marriage, and now he's engaged? It's like,
Yeah.
dude.
He didn't want to get
That much
he
of a
didn't want to
flip-flopper.
get married because that was wrong, because of his religion, blah blah blah, bullshit.
And now he wants to get married because it can probably get him a green card.
Yes.
Allegedly.
No, but it would. It would get him.
No, I know. Well, I'm saying that's why he's getting married, and that's why I'm putting on my
probably.
allegedly hat.
Well, allegedly, that's probably the reason of why, but we
I
won't
can't
know.
say honestly, in that regard, though, I can't say I blame him with the way Europe is going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, neither can I. I would do the same thing. I'm not saying that makes him a bad person, but I am saying that definitely, does take into account his content to character when he said he would never do that, and then when it becomes this, like, in his best interest, it suddenly becomes okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I remember when he was on the Joe Rogan show, and there was a lot of pushback on the whole idea of being gay or him deciding that he would like to get married. But yeah, he pretty much flat out refused, and then he denied a few other things that made it very questionable, because he also denied the concept of climate change, or at least global warming. Though I'm not a full denier of the idea that it is possible, I do question some of the merits that is out there. I need more.
I think when it comes to climate change, clearly there is some sort of climate change going on, but it's not the same as Bill Nye's climate change. There's a fucking compromise in the middle where you go, yes, the Earth is changing. Some of that is due to our contribution. Some of it's not.
And I would like to know how much of it's due to our contribution.
What's caused by us? What's caused by the Earth?
Yeah.
And we can't have that until we calm the fuck down.
And as Penn said, as Penn pointed out, in order for us to find out for sure, we'd have to have two separate globes, two separate Earths. One that that has pretty much been purified or left in a state of perpetual, continuance, that didn't have any issues, that man was out of the equation.
For those of you World of Warcrafters, the Emerald Dream.
I'm going to throw a crazy theory out there.
Okay, what's your crazy theory, Fish?
Well, this thing, like, could it be possible to create a much smaller sized Earth out in space, like using technology, of course, and basically you do that same experiment then, but just do it to scale?
Yeah, it'd be fun. Because I know they did
like a 1/50th or 1/1000th sized Earth.
Yeah.
When we put them through the same experiment. Mm-hmm. That would be interesting.
Nice. That would be interesting. I mean, I know we've done
it's a lot easier than creating two new Earths and waiting 2,000 years.
And then waiting until like 2,000 years to see exactly what the fuck happened.
Exactly.
Basically science has, or at least social science or science in general, has done it with mice when it comes down to social structure and how far it would take, or what the true scenarios would be in order for it to collapse on itself. We know what the scenarios are. The problem is that we don't know how to stop them.
Yeah.
And again, saying that we won't know for sure unless we had two separate Earths to run this whole experiment with, it's not a denial that climate change exists. What we are saying is we are skeptical of the amount of impact we actually have versus how much of it is natural.
Yeah.
And is it anything for us to really be panicking about? There are things that, yes, we can see immediate things with, such as dumping sludge or litter or smog. Things that we can immediately control and regulate. Outside of that, it's still our planet too. It's still our home. Sorry that maybe some form of algae dies somewhere, and that's the general food source of some krill that some fish eat, that some bigger fish eat, out in the coral reef somewhere.
Yeah.
Plants evolve too, just like humans have been evolving this whole time. Plants evolve too. The fish will evolve too to eat different kind of algae. Other fish will
Life
evolve.
finds a way.
Yes, life finds a way. Thank you, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Well, now it's Rick Sanchez.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The only reason I'm not killing you guys is because I'm impressed that life finds a way.
Yeah. But but you also look at it this way. We still have dinosaurs that are still roaming the Earth. They have evolved to a different species. We call them birds. Like it or not, we have some tortoises that have... Yeah, emus. No, small birds, like the canaries and that. Other birds in general.
Them too.
Yeah.
Fuck
We
it,
also
even
have,
crocodiles.
crocodiles. We have the tortoise. We have some fish that have evolved and changed. We have certain mammalias who have evolved and changed, including ourselves. So life continues even if something is extinct. Yes, there's certain things that we have caused, for like the decimation of the buffalo,
Or the dodo.
or the dodo, or
We've been the
something.
result of
But
a few extinctions.
yes. But we are not alone with that complete extinction. There's some certain species of animals have done it to other species of animals that have outright destroyed them.
Yeah.
So
But there's also Mother Nature. Mother Nature is a filthy whore who loves to kill things. Okay.
she's a harsh mistress.
Well, I was going to say, there's also an upside to this. While humans have been responsible for some animal extinction, there's also cases where we've actually helped the population of certain animals that have been introduced into their non-indigenous habitats and have multiplied like rabbits, shall we say?
Great segue, Pen, because
and I was going to
Black Lives Matter. Yes, for anybody who wants to know, I am the racist one in the group because, you know what, fuck it. I'm not fully white, I'm not fully black, so fuck y'all. So, Black Lives Matters, a judge has ruled that they can't be sued as a movement.
They just multiply like rabbits.
They just multiply like rabbits, but they cannot be sued as a movement. As individuals, it's possible, but you have to prosecute each individual. But as a group as a whole, not going to happen.
So Black Lives Matter as a social movement, like the Tea Party or civil rights, and therefore cannot be sued. A federal judge ruled Thursday.
Correct. Okay, what's people's thoughts about this? Because I went first on.
My thought it's fine with that because again, how can you put an entire movement under the bus of the law? It's impossible to get everybody. So I mean, I could be a member of BLM without anybody knowing.
Yeah.
So
Of course, you never would be, but that's not the point.
No, that's not the point. But the idea is that we don't know all the movement It's like trying to put Antifa as an entire social bloc on stand and prosecute them for whatever stupidity that the entire the individuals have done on the basis of the entire group. It's like trying to put humanity on trial because of one or two stupid people.
Yeah, that never works out great in fiction.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
And
life is stranger than fiction too. So
life is stranger than fiction.
The only thing I don't like about this, as much as I agree that it's the only way to go legally and constitutionally, there are people who are planning on this and taking advantage of it. You know what I mean? Like they're very happy that it happened like this because it makes them untouchable, even though they're directly responsible for some of the things that are happening. Even though they're not part of Black Lives Matter, but they're involved, if that makes sense.
Understandable, but that's why you have to have a strong enough case that say this person has incited violence or incited unrest, and here's all the evidence proving such. They are somehow responsible for this. That's the only thing that you can really do. You can't. Again, I agree. You can't go after an ambiguous movement where anybody can come and go as they please, depending on what they believe or what kind of person is writing them a paycheck on the backside. but you can.
Hours. Sorry.
But you.
What? Frog in your throat there?
Yeah, sorry.
You need like a lemon holes or something. You can only go after individuals based on the actions or call to actions that they take. So, at the very least, you could maybe point to someone. And I'm just throwing out an idea here. Like for instance, if because she's already in the news, Yvette Farlarka is the one that's calling to action for violence. She could potentially be held up at an event where she's as responsible for inciting violence, which she kind of already is going to trial for. So it is possible, but you can't just say everybody in Antifa or everybody in Black Lives Matter can be sued. No, you have.
Yeah.
You could get the leader for their actions, but you can't get the group.
Right.
Exactly.
But once you start...
But the problem is the leader's very good at hiding. That's the only problem.
Yeah. Well, if you can get the leader, or leaders, then you can start to see the movement die down. You kind of saw that as soon as Homeland Security basically called Antifa a domestic terrorist group, that now the journalists are like, hush, hush, no, we don't support them. And then police are basically now, well, no, now we are stepping up our efforts more, and definitely no masks in these public events. And then they start to lose their momentum and power. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not planning things on to try to figure out other things, which I'm just going to put this as a side note.
Out.
Yes, Louderwith Crowder.
Yeah. Stephen Crowder pointed that out. I'm sorry, I beat you. I was going to say that too, so I beat you to it. Stephen Crowder did a really good doc behind the scenes with Not Gay Greg.
Not Gay Jared.
They went
Not Gay Jared.
Thank you.
Holy fuck, that guy's brave.
Yes.
That guy has a set of balls.
Yeah, well, again, he is the producer, so the funny thing is he is the producer, and he's putting himself on trial, pretty much, in front of these fuckers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, could you imagine they recognize him? How fucked he would be? They had knives, dude.
They
had shivs and ice picks, and somebody was mentioning that they had AK-47s and sawed-off shotguns,
ARs,
which is illegal, by the way. Illegal. A sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah. Sawed-off shotgun is illegal in the United States based on how long it is.
No, it's do you realize it's illegal just about almost anywhere?
Yes. Well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here in Texas.
Because in Canada, you cannot have a sawed-off shotgun.
Here you can.
The only place it's not legal is the fucking Congo.
Pretty much.
No, see, it's legal to have one here. The thing is, though, it can't be under 18 inches.
Well, guess what? This fucker was under 18 inches, apparently.
Oh, well, yeah, he's screwed.
At the very least, I applaud Crowder and Not Gay Jared by going undercover and basically turning over whatever they had to local law enforcement, which helped lead to some of the arrests of these people.
Well, they were doing a sting operation against the transsexual that is supposed to be their leader.
Yeah.
For that area.
They're already aware of that one.
The funny thing is that in order for them to join Antifa, they had to have some encrypted app on the phone in order for them to get to see all these messages.
Yeah.
So
Antifa
they are organized,
smart.
but we can still fight back.
Not just are they organized, but they're also well paid.
Yes.
To do that type of shit costs money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but it just shows people who are brave enough can fight back and can help not only just deter others from it, but actually start chipping away at the foundation of this craziness.
But my question is the same thing like Stephen Crowder's question is, why does it take a comedian, a late night talk show shock job, to pretty much to infiltrate, to do what a journalist is supposed to do?
Yeah. And he did it in a much better way than any journalist has done in the last, I'm going to say, 2 decades. I haven't seen a really shocking, story posted in decades.
The
Like
re-
that has been like,
The
wow.
last time I seen anything like that, it was Geraldo Rivera.
The reason
Yeah.
why we haven't seen anything like what Crowder and Nake Jared pulled off is for one of three reasons. Either one, the networks are trying to help Antifa. Number two, they just don't care. Or three, they're cowards and they don't want to get involved
Yeah.
for any kind of backlash or repercussions they may face.
Well, let's give a shout out to that guy. I forget his name, unfortunately. He's the one that does do exposures pretty well. Like he did the one on the Planned Parenthood, and he did do one on Antifa earlier this year. I'm trying to remember his name. Can anyone help me here?
I don't know. I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I do. I will look it up and we will put it in the sidebar under everything.
Yeah.
Once we
And I promise that next week I will have a name available. But he
It's
deserves
not-
a shout
it's
because he's
not-
done it several times.
Project Veritas or no?
There, thank you, Project Veritas. He has done a really outstanding job with some of the shit he's done.
Yay!
Except he's not main media. He's just his own little organization. You know, purely for obliterating people.
Speaking of organization, we're gonna go over to game development.
What?
Because I want to do something that's game related.
Yay, game development.
Yeah.
Okay, so Atlas?
Yes, Atlas, the main gaming company known as Atlas, who makes the popular games like Persona, decided to throw out a DMCA takedown against a developer who emulates, or at least had the ability or figured out how to emulate, PlayStation 3 based games.
Oh no.
Yeah. What they did was they decided to take it one step further and directed all this vile hatred towards the Patreon page and demanded that Patreon take it down.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
And Patreon stood its ground.
Patreon actually took the most logical thing to do and said, nope, fuck it. They're not exploiting anybody's copyrights. They're not telling people to go pirate games. All they're doing is providing a service for people to emulate, or at least emulate, the PlayStation 3 so they can take their already bought in discs, put it into their fucking computer, and play the game. Now, if by chance there's a ROM developer who has stripped out the actual, coding, put it into a little ROM so that it can play on whatever, that's a totally different thing. It has nothing to do with
Well,
that.
let me interrupt. When it's a PlayStation 3, it ain't gonna be a fucking little ROM. It's gonna be like a 90 gig file.
Oh fuck yes! But I'm just saying, it is. They're taking the disc. So if you
only
have
imagine
a
how big it'll
Japanese,
be.
well, again, think of it. If you have Persona and it's a Japanese content of disc, are you gonna take the time to run around to find a Japanese PlayStation 3 that may or may not be in existence in order for you to play this game?
Most people won't, but like somebody really hardcore will shill out over $1,000 to go ahead and get themselves a PlayStation 3 Japanese version. Okay, $2,500. Thank you, because I know the fatties.
$500 in there.
The fatties.
I know that the fatties are still going for over $900 on Amazon used, so I can imagine that a brand new Japanese version would cost like at least that 1.5 times, if not 2. So thank you.
Yes, it's insane, but I'm quite happy that Patreon has finally.
And who has that burning?
Yeah.
You're freaking out.
Yeah, no, I was
Sorry?
going to mention that. Yeah, you are breaking up a
Go
little
ahead.
bit. So. Well, you figure you shit out on that.
I
and
apologize.
No, it's okay. I was going to mention the factor that I'm glad that Patreon has finally done something besides, stand with the lefties and try to take everybody down because of whatever reasons. They actually
Raisins.
looked into this. Yeah, all the raisins. They're tasty and abundant, and sometimes they're hard to chew. But I'm glad that they actually did the research before signing up with the game developer and say, yeah, no, we got to take them down.
Right.
Yeah.
At the very
Nice.
least, because I doubt that Patreon wants any more backlash. Speaking of backlash, I know that this is a little off script, but can I take like 2 seconds to do 2 quick shout outs?
by all means, that's why we were going to wait for a little bit, get everybody back in order, because this would be a little bit of time for whatever shills and breaks that we have. So shill away.
Shilling away. Okay, so as most of you know that are not on the East Coast, because for me it's already past the time, today, September 29th, Cuphead has released.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! And from a previous Gator and Frog that we talked about, the one where the supposed game journalist could not even get past the tutorial stage and then wrote an angry review because he does not know how to play.
Couldn't play to save a barn.
Disclosure, we're not being paid for this advertisement. This is just something that we're excited about. I went ahead and picked up my copy of Cuphead. I will be playing it this weekend. I'm just not sure if I'm going to live stream it or not, but if I do, you guys will be the first ones to know. So, hey, check it out. Anyway, so
Shout out!
Cuphead. Second one, for any of those who are following, what's his name? The YouTube copyright attorney, Leonard French. You would know about Star Mazer DSP and the whole Alex Mauer thing. Apparently, this past weekend was her deadline to respond to the whole, to the complaints levied against her, him, them. Excuse me. It levied against it. In regards to the false DMCAs that Alex had made on YouTube because Don Thacker of Imagos Studios, Imagos Film, Imagos, had kept some of her music, their music, inside of the game. But not really, because like something about like binary code properties were still there, even though they weren't being accessed or used. Anyways, long story short, Alex was given up to the 21st or 25th, one of the days within this past week to make response and to get a lawyer, which Alex did not. She in fact responded late after Leonard had filed a motion to have the whole case defaulted to him, who he's representing. Leonard is representing Don and Imagos, so he had motioned for a default judgment. Well, then Alex had just recently had submitted a late claim, but then had the claims that she makes has nothing to do with the actual case of the whole copyright and the claimant of she doesn't own the game, why are you DMCAing the thing? So anyways, there's still more to come with that, and Leonard, I'll put links in the description below to Leonard's latest video on top of that. But if you guys are so inclined to check out Star Mazer DSP, again, this is another game that I picked up, I'm also going to play. If you want to show support to this developer, it's $9 to buy the game. $9? $10, excuse me. To support the game, again.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, see, somebody remembers that one.
We make nothing on this. I'm just promoting this because I want to promote developers who seem to do good work and who are on the up and up and seem legit and are being unfavorably punished by somebody who thinks that they have a chip on their shoulders. So
you're just too legit to quit.
Too legit to quit.
So those were my two little shill moments for upcoming things to do and to promote and to see good things come out of.
Well, I kind of have Subnautica running. I've looked at it, and I'm most likely going to be doing a cinematic version of it instead of just a basic stereotypical Let's Play. So I'm going to be taking some time to put together a lot of 15-minute clips to kind of tell a very long story of how the character got on the planet and how they're going to get their ass off.
Nice.
Something I think we should all look forward to, because knowing you, Rogue, you would make it epic.
I would hope so. I'm trying. Speaking of epic, we're gonna go to Crack, a blast from the past.
Cracked, you say? Cracked.
Yeah,
Crack.
Cracked. The 5
Cracked.
things gamers must admit to themselves. This came out a while back, and I decided to kind of look at it, and I went, "Oh, okay." This came out in the 27th of November in 2016.
Yeah. Almost a year ago.
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
a year ago. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of look back to it. Now, on the bottom of the sidebar, we'll probably have it available to you for those who want to see the link. I'm not going to give Crack the opportunity to try to DMCA me or whatever. I don't fucking care.
Well,
So,
I
I'm just
have it
gonna
up
get
on my
back-
screen, but I have it muted, and I'm jumping around in the video.
Cool. I have it on a different. I have the basic title thing, 5 things gamers must blah blah blah. But in my tablet, I actually have it running on my little thing here, and I can tell you what the first thing that they have to admit to themselves is: the level of violence is smearing banana paste on your chest and calling yourself the King of France. Insane. So basically, what they're saying that the amount of violent games that are out there, it's the only thing that we actually buy as gamers.
Yeah,
So,
wrong.
So I have to interject on this one. He might be onto something, because then we would have to overlook the sports game industry, the basic some of the Mario franchise, like Mario Striker Charge, which is kind of like a soccer game.
We'd have
The
to forget about
casual
the-
gamer industry.
we'd have to forget
Oh,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
tycoon and the simulator games.
And then
Yeah.
the strategy games such as Angry Birds.
Yeah, and then we'd all have to forget about, as well as like your
Minecraft.
civilization style games.
Oh my
your-
god,
Yeah.
Minecraft
There's
is
so
super
many.
violent. All the poor cows.
Well, I was gonna say those poor creepers. Like,
Oh yeah, those
I-
fucking creepers, man. Damn.
You know,
Or how about Professor
if they
Layton
could
in
bleed,
Berkeley
man,
Village?
if they could bleed.
Oh, then again, you have those mystery things, those storyteller epic, like
Yeah.
Professor Layton
Yeah.
in Curious Village, or
I was gonna
Phoenix
say,
Wright,
Yeah, Phoenix
Wright,
Wright.
things like those, man.
And Undertale, that game's fucking violent as fuck. Well,
Oh, fuck,
it
yeah,
actually
that
can
is-
be. It actually can be if you play it a very particular way. However,
If you want,
yeah,
any game
but
can be
it's-
completely violent if you play it in a particular way. I mean, insane.
but,
That-
but
that-
genocide
that-
mode. But there's very few games that are called genocide mode.
Let's not forget.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the most violent one of all, Tetris.
Oh fuck yeah, Tetris! I don't know how many times I've tried to throw that giant console out a window.
You know.
See, I come from a
Let's not
generation
forget-
where we had. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Let's not forget the biggest reason anyone ever gets violent: lag.
Oh yeah.
Yes, lag.
Yeah. And wait. The point is, fuck that. There are so much more to games than violence. Eat a dick, Cracked.
Correct. The next thing he pretty much goes on to saying that the anger thing probably isn't a coincidence,
Oh.
isn't it?
Fuck you! You got a fucking problem with me, Cracked? You want to fight? Huh?
It's been proven that gaming in general does reduce the amount of violent tendency. Yes, it probably increases the stress to a degree, but it does alleviate a lot of it to a point where it causes a person to vent so that they don't have their violent tendencies. I don't see all gamers going out to try to rob banks.
Nope.
Well, not just this, but it's just facts. Ever since gaming has got more and more developed, violence, crime, especially in youth, has gone down drastically.
Now we can make the
There is
argument.
no.
We can make
Go
the
ahead.
argument correlation does not equal causation. However, there is a significant cultural growth here with things like additional technology and games and media in general that is affecting the lowering of crime. We can't ignore this.
Nope.
Can I point out to one of the most crime-ridden countries in the world that has a huge gaming concept? We'll call it Japan. It's crime rate.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the deviancy that Japan has, the amount of crime that they have to face on an everyday basis is maddening. There's
Not
rape
enough hentai.
everywhere. There's oh my God.
Oh,
You know,
okay. So hentai also has a part takes a part of it too. The tentacle
Well, not
porn.
enough hentai Japan.
But this is a country that has a huge sex fetish.
Yeah.
They have a penis March day where they celebrate the penis. Everybody walks around with penis popsicles and penis whatever. And yes,
I did not
this
know
is a
that.
thing.
I don't
Having
know
a
your
sane
penis.
International Penis Day.
There
Having
is.
known you, Rogue, I don't know if this is being satire or if this is being serious.
No, this is real. This is real.
This
It's
is
real.
real. This is real. It
Holy
celebrates.
shit.
This celebrates the idea that they celebrate the Father Heaven and Mother Earth. Father
Yeah.
Heaven helped plantify and seed Mother Earth for us to grow here. So that day is to represent, the sky god or whatever came from the sky, struck the planet and made shit happen.
Struck
Yeah.
the planet over and over and over
And over and over and
for a good
God,
for a good
it
15
wrecked.
minutes.
it did a huge wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got work for 15 minutes.
Oh God, Nemo.
Oh God, what happened to you, buddy?
Is that right?
Fish, not a
Dude,
robot.
Wow, fish just did weird things.
Oh,
No, it's okay.
Is it
But
that
it was just
bad?
weird. It was just like I don't know what was going on there. Where you were slowing down, time got to you. You got into a time paradox.
okay.
We know you're. Yeah, you are pretty good. We know you're in the future, sir. We just didn't think that you had to slow yourself down to be with us plebs.
I did. I met myself in my now, and that's why it happened. But I merged with my past self, so we should be cool now.
All right, and the last thing I'm going to cover, which is number 3 in his 5 bullshit rant, is we don't actually care about the story. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah.
If we don't care about the story, then why the hell would we play games like, I don't know, The Walking Dead? Why would we spend painstaking time to get the perfect ending and go through it again to get the worst possible ending and go through it again? We
You know what?
we
I just
thrive off
realized
the story.
we missed a genre on video games that Dave's left out.
Which one's that?
Visual novels.
Yeah.
Well, again, we have visual novels, but he's saying that we don't thrive off of this. We know nothing about this. That we're
and
just
Bioshock.
racist, sexist. Yeah.
Yeah, no one
We
plays
don't-
Bioshock for the story, or the characters, or the incredible world that they created down there. We just
No,
played
we
it because
just
we
played
like
it because
bashing
we can
people
bash
together with a
somebody in the
fucking
head.
wrench. Yeah.
Or magic. The Raven.
Yeah, or zapping them, or releasing a swarm of bees into someone's face. As much fun as that
Not the
is.
bees! Not the bees! Sorry.
Yeah.
That.
Oh god! And then,
Not the face. Please not the face.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So speaking of bees, we're gonna go somewhere down under in the
so wait.
Outback Steakhouse.
We're not going to finish. We're not going to finish with number 4 and 5.
Fuck it, I'm done. We're moving on.
Way to leave a girl hanging there. Jeez.
sorry, okay,
You know,
come on,
don't
have
worry,
your thoughts.
don't worry. You will be finished eventually. I told you the last one. I told you the last one we're covering is number 3, and we're gonna play around with the Outback Steakhouse. We're gonna play with the Aboriginal sauce.
Aboriginal sauce.
No,
So
the aspect.
God damn it. Nemo.
yeah. Anywho, so if the fish stops trying to drown himself. Apparently in Australia, there's a theme chain called the Outback Steakhouse.
No, fuck this. This is you guys having taken our culture, appropriating it, and having your own menu.
Yeah, I have
cannot
like
be
one.
offended.
I gotta give Nemo that one. He's actually right on that. It's actually an American chain.
Yeah,
I know,
I have like
but
one
it's in
5 minutes from my house.
There's
Yeah,
one like
so
10 minutes from
regardless-
mine.
But regardless of it, this is a Canadian keeping all this bullshit. So regardless of it, they decided to create a menu that is very unique. Let's see, they have the bloomin' onion
Yes.
Yes.
on menu.
Beautiful.
It is
wonderful,
an Outback
delicious.
Aboriginal with special onion it is hand carved, cooked until golden, ready to dip in our spicy signature bloom sauce. Now take it away, Ozzy.
You want to know the most offensive thing about this? Assuming the Aboriginals can cook.
He went there. Shit.
No. As I said, this is just one of those things where.
But it gets even better. Take it again.
No, I could go with that. No, but I'm actually going to say I'm not offended by this. I think it's just really, really poor foresight for them to not think an Aboriginal's finally going to enter their restaurant and look at this and go, "What the fuck is this?"
Wait. I remember for as long as I can remember, the bloomin' onion and the special onion sauce being there for like ages, and now all of a sudden they want to have a complaint about this, or is it just this particular advertisement?
No. It's because of the factor.
An Aboriginal.
What the fuck's going on, Nemo?
Yeah.
No, Nemo, stop. Whatever you're doing, stop.
Because they called it the Aboriginal sauce, or the Aboriginal lemon
Nemo.
onion now.
Nemo, can I ask you to do one thing? Log out, log back in.
I warned you guys on my phone. Right now.
I
You know
know.
what? This
yeah.
has made this podcast just fucking amazing.
Because you, for whatever reason, what you were saying was gone. It made no
How's that?
sense. That sounds a bit better. Thank you, sir. We'll wait a few minutes. Now, can you repeat what you said?
How's that?
No, before
Okay.
all that.
That's sorry.
Okay, don't.
I'm sorry. I said.
Oh, Rogue, you asked him to repeat himself, so he was repeating himself.
Okay, let me explain. Oh, God.
Okay, let's do it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. To set this straight, the reason why people got upset was because this is the first time an Aboriginal Australian took a picture of the menu and took offense to it. It's been there for a long, long time, but no one has noticed it that would have cared until now. It's been there forever, but no one cared until someone took offense.
Yeah, but can I ask the question for you? How many Aboriginals are left in your nation? Real Aboriginals, not the 50%ers or 16%ers.
I'd
many are
say
left?
maybe a few hundred.
Okay, maybe if you. So are they out in the boonies somewhere, or are they
No.
civilized?
Okay. There's a couple there are a bunch of civilized ones, not that many.
Okay.
Maybe a dozen or a couple dozen civilized ones. And maybe I'm being really ignorant here. Maybe it's a few thousand, but there's a whole bunch of them that have their own little tribes in the Northern Territory.
That's what I thought because that's what I thought.
Traditionally.
Yeah, no, but again, like
Except
I said,
they sniff petrol now.
yeah, well, again, I always thought it would be the same thing like the Aboriginals here in Canada, that there's only a small handful that are what is considered pure breeds or pure Aboriginals, and the rest of them are kind of like 1/16th of or 1/32nd, and like how you made it.
I'm on 32nd Cherokee.
Okay,
yeah,
that's really
that's
nice,
shit.
but that means nothing. You're not Cherokee. You just a
but that's
descendant of the
exactly
Cherokees.
Yeah,
So-
and that's what like 90% of the Aboriginals are here. They just claim to have heritage when they don't. When they have a very small amount of dialect, especially when it comes to Aboriginal, I guess, genes. they
Yep.
tend to run out very, very easily. Within 2 generations, you can basically have no outward of genetic appearances of being an Aboriginal in Australia. But that's besides the point. That's just, as I said, apparently someone who claimed to be Aboriginal took offense to it, and that's why we're hearing the story now.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Just always love that.
So nearly 30 years later, because it was started in Florida, my home state, started in Florida back in 1988. Now, all of a sudden, it's a problem.
Yeah, well,
And they would have never heard about this.
Culture.
Never would have heard about this in almost 30 years.
30 years.
No!
Across 22 countries, 950 restaurants. And this is the first person in nearly 30 years. Oh my gosh, you know what? He's a millennial. He's a younger millennial than me.
Yeah, well, hey, just because he's 22 has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, that means nothing. I'm sorry. Yeah, that means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It just so happens that he happens to be, very young, and it's
and the fact that they took a photo of him tells me already that he's not really like part of the Aboriginal culture or anything, because they have forbidden to have photos taken of him.
Well, that's what I was asking, because when I looked at him, he didn't look Aboriginal.
It's not. But they claim.
They claim a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are.
Yeah.
I think we lost the fish. Okay, cool. We got the fish. All right. So speaking of claiming things and being...
Claim that if you take a photo of them, that it's still their fault.
If you keep doing that, we're going to call you drunk fish.
Yeah, wrong.
Okay, speaking of drunks, I guess we're gonna go over to the woman who peed all over this soldier memorial and actually has to pay a price for it.
Oh wow, really? Nice.
Yes, I know. I posted it a while ago. I thought it was hilarious. A drunken woman decided to urinate on a war memorial.
Oh.
She thought to warm it up. That's
Oh yeah, I mean.
Oh, wait a minute. So now this is like the story of the runner who is the runner who took a shit in the park for a few months, and here this woman is trying to follow up by peeing on a soldier's memorial.
Yeah. You don't want to see her trilogy, man. That's gonna be nasty.
Apparently, the arresting officer heard shouting "fuck this," and then noticed a particular woman trying to rifle up her trousers and that while holding a can of beer.
Let's just,
it gets even better. It was in broad daylight, and it was caught on camera.
Oh God!
Smile, you're on camera.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So she commemorated with giving the soldiers a golden shower.
Oh. the golden stream salute.
She might have gave someone what they wanted.
That's right. You never know.
Exist.
That's why I like the dragon. See, I like the dragon for a reason. I knew it, and you were like, I liked him.
Well, when you've been around as long as I have, you kind of entertain the perverse world.
So
how old are you
in dragon years?
Oh, around 200.
Wow.
He's fairly young, because in my demon years, I'm way over that.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, actually, it's a little bit more than that, because for every 10 human years is basically the equivalency of 100.
You would think so.
Yeah.
So probably the shortest one, the one who has the shortest lifespan here is Nemo the fish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it only depends. What fish are you?
Actually, from what I remember, he was supposed to be a reincarnation of Captain Nemo.
Yeah. I am Captain Nemo from the novel, but
But God has a sixth sense of humor and made you into a clownfish. Because
God didn't have a sixth sense of humor. He was put on a negotiating board. It's so that we can have fun with him. I was on the board. It was either that or have a holy war, and I didn't want to have a holy war, so we opted to make a clownfish. And we thought, well, what better way to do it was either to get And
my story arc is going to finish by me getting eaten by a white whale.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had to break it to him. It's like, oh, by the way, think of white whale.
Yeah.
At least it's not the blue whale. All hail blue whale.
Yes, all hail blue whale. Speaking of white whales and losers, in Canada, in a nice little place called Ottawa, and a woman in Ottawa decided to get her eyeball tattooed.
Oh.
And
I heard about this.
And now she is facing the possibility of losing it. Now, she didn't bother to do her research properly, and the person that she mentioned it to hounded her to get it done, and can I do it for you, blah, blah, blah. So after being pressured, she decided to go for it with this particular individual, not realizing that this particular individual has botched it over 15 times.
When you do research on tattoo artists, you need to know how many times they've done it successfully and the number of times they fucked it up.
Yeah. She's 24.
Especially when it's your fucking eye!
You think?
This reminds me of there were cases not too long ago where there was this woman doing botched plastic surgery, but it wasn't plastic surgery. She was injecting concrete glue into people's asses.
So,
like botched augmentation, but using like these very toxic and dangerous chemicals. And silicone caulking is just as good as any silicone that you put in. I mean, saline is nothing. Who the hell needs that? Oh.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
No.
You can ask as many questions as you want, sir.
What did this lady have tattooed onto her eyeball?
Well,
like a smiley face that says "Have a nice day." That'd be
no, whatever was tattooed on her eyeball doesn't exist anymore, because let's put it this way:
it would have been destroyed.
The eyeball has been destroyed. The person who did it didn't do the proper research. They used the wrong fucking needles. They didn't dilute the ink with saline. They pushed too fucking hard in through the eyeball itself to damage everything. So
the retina.
Yeah.
So they tattooed the
retina. Everything is pretty much done.
Well, even behind the retina.
Yeah, beyond. It's
too.
So basically, at the end of it, she's gonna lose the eye. There's nothing that she can do to save it. Even though she decided to
gone. You've been stabbed in the eyeball. You're fucked.
Yeah. Now, she's putting the guy or the person who did it. I'm assuming it's a guy.
Can I set up the segue?
Go ahead.
What a way to die!
Yeah, it is. It's a really fucked up way to die.
And on that note,
what are we going?
Note?
No, not yet, sir. That's too early.
Damn it!
It's way too early. We haven't even done a break yet. We haven't gone through the death of what is known as Star Trek.
Oh!
The STD!
Rogue. As one of the ones in the room who will probably want to slap someone if he ever gets told to watch this for review. We will get to DeathNote, and that is our second part. Go ahead. Don't ask me to review this.
I will not tell you to review it, because this is my portion of punishment. So overall, with the 2 seasons, or at least the 2 episodes that have come out,
I has no link, but keep going.
I already have it up. for just a picture of Star Trek Discovery. Type it
Oh.
in your Google box and type in and pop up just the image.
DuckDuckGo!
Yes. I will tell you that for the good, it has some really good special effects. It has a pretty high production value. The ship designs are extremely great. Everything about it sounds, looks extraordinary. It's a perfect compilation to what a a Star Trek should be. Problem? It has no story. The characters make no sense. And there's a lot of argumental plot points that makes the entire
Storyline
show questionable.
loopholes.
The loopholes that go beyond that. The idea of making the Klingons Trumpers was a very bad idea. Because when you face the non-Vulcan up against the Trumpers, it sounds like it's like a Black Lives Matters movement against what they consider the alt-right, and it just screams political to the highest level instead of being very docile like Gene Roddenberry was in his first original Star Trek, or even as you continue in the Next Generation, or even if you go further down and go into Deep Space Nine, which I found my favorite out of the entire collection, though most people hated it, especially the hard.
I don't hate it, but I just think Next Generation's the best.
I didn't like Next Generation because I found it too nerdy.
Well,
sorry.
But that's a thing for me.
That's you're a nerd. That's the reason why we made you into a fish.
I'm gonna say my piece on what I thought about the Klingons, because I've watched Mom to Trekkie. I've watched it all. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they were to go for like a religious version of the Klingons. The religion was always in the Klingons from the word go.
Yeah, it was. It was already embedded since their original, for the most part. And what they're trying to do is try to explain.
Yes, but they weren't aboriginal.
No,
but didn't they literally murder their gods because they were like too controlling?
Not they. Kahless.
Kahless murdered their god, but that's the story.
Yeah.
That is the basic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the
now,
that may or may not have happened.
Well, yeah.
But then that's how their basis of existence is. It's literally the highest level of being a Viking, or a Mongol. This is about honor, and it's about the prestige of going to Valhalla or Stavrakor for them.
Now that you mention it, the Klingons were very much like the Vikings in their religion.
Very much so, which is why a lot of us related to that particular character because of it being so proud and honorsome and being very Nordic, or being very Asian in some cases.
I don't like Trump.
Yeah, no.
Well, I've seen clips of the Klingons in the new version, and I wouldn't say Trump is the one they went for.
Yeah, they did because the main leader that they have is very, very so much like Trump to a point. The problem I have with the entire story is it's two arcs. It is the rise of Sarek's adoptive daughter and how she is imprisoned, and then it jumps over many years later. She is released for whatever reason and is planted on the ship Discovery. Okay. So you have two stories in the beginning of what is supposed to be the pilot. Now, for CBS, it might be a good game plan for them. Long term, I don't think it's going to be very successful because they're not going to latch onto the hard course, and that's where their money is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? Jeff Holiday did a key thing. I think I saw his review on it, and the core thing he said was all the Star Treks prior were never a main character. It was the core cast.
Yes, because that's what I explained it to you when you asked, because you were shocked that Uhura was a main cast member. I'm like, no, technically she wasn't. She wasn't a
I thought
main.
she
She was
was.
part of the main cast. She was a supporting character of the five. If anybody who was the main cast, it would have been Kelly, Nimoy, or Shatner,
Yeah.
because McCoy, Spock, and Kirk were always sent somewhere with maybe Scotty. Those were the most recognizable characters, those four. Everybody else was like, who's this Sulu dude? And then Sulu got a story arc. Then all of a sudden they brought in Chekhov, and you kind of go, when did this guy show up? And then he got a bit of a story arc as an introduction. Uhura was always in the background as just calm. She had nothing to do except for play with the radio, play with a few knobs.
I think they actually ended up giving her a story arc at one time.
They did eventually, because they put it with Spock and tried to give her a romantic relationship between the two, which is why the Abrams one has that.
That's why it's there.
Yes, because remember when they go onto the hippie planet and Spock is shot in the face with this plant goo? And
I vaguely remember.
Then that's where he gets his emotion and he falls in love with Uhura. Then they have the whole romantic thing. That is why Abrams amplified it and went with it. Kind of going, there's a relationship here, we can use this. So.
Yeah.
So that would.
Emotions! Bad!
I know.
Well, see, that's what. Well, that's one of the things I realized was a thing was, they have this girl who's an adopted daughter of Spock's dad, and Spock didn't pay attention to his own son because of the human part of him.
Well, here's the thing I have. She was never mentioned throughout the entire original series.
Nope.
Never once. Spock never mentioned that she had an adopted. He had an adopted sister. That Sarek had somebody else that was also being trained under him. It was just him alone. Now they're trying to retcon the idea of her being in existence.
Yeah.
Well, even then, they're going even a little bit further with kind of breaking a little bit of the original storyline by adding the Klingons the way they were.
Yes. Yeah, which puts me into the belief that this is more or less within the J.J. Abrams storyline, not the original storyline, which is what they're claiming to be. So basically what they're doing is they're working backwards. They've got this point of time to try to explain Green's character, and now they've got to work back in time to put her in the right spot. Because they have no timeline. The timeline is supposed to be around the X&R battle that happened, that took place, where the Klingons in the Federation had the hugest battle ever.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're going backwards. Now that's the problem. Instead of trying to get an idea of where the guideline is, for example, Orville is a far better Star Trek because you got all the characters, you know where they're going to go, and you know what the show is about. Like, for example, the original Star Trek Enterprise, which is based around the original timeline. It gave you a story arc, the characters, and knew exactly where it was going to go. Even though it was half-assed in certain directions, it gave you an idea of where they were going. DS9, my personal favorite, most don't like it. It had a story arc. It had the characters. It had a direction. It knew where it was going. Hell, even Star Trek Voyager knew where it was going.
Yeah.
Kate Mulgrew was the captain. These people that she was fighting were the Marquis. The two happened to be in the Delta Quadrant. Now they've got to find their way back, so they join forces. The story writes itself, folks. So
all you gotta do is let it.
Yeah. So basically on Rotten Tomato, if you look at it currently, you're looking at an audience score of 61% who actually like the movie, and it's dropping because it was originally 64.
Oh, wow.
If you look at the critics version of it, it's holding around 68% or 86%.
Oh wow.
There's a big discrepancy here, I'm sorry to say. The critics on one side say it's the greatest Star Trek they've ever seen, while the audience is saying it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah,
That makes no sense.
Why is it the greatest Star Trek they've ever seen?
Because of political, because of two reasons, two great reasons, tasty reasons. One, it's because the political bullshit that they have to oblige by and being paid for. The second is if they say it's a bad if they say it's a bad series, they may never be able to write anything after because they'll be blackballed.
Yeah. What I do with the writing embargoes that were on a review for it, and that's
Well, see,
that tells me already it's shit.
Here's the nice thing about writing reviews. You might not be able to write reviews particularly for certain newspaper organizations, but if you have a reputation of having cojones and actually telling the truth about what you think about the series and give no fucks about who might have a discrepancy with what you say, people are going to follow your reputation no matter where you go, even if you write independently.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to get into the independent market when you haven't already kind of lived it. If you've been writing for the New Yorker for like 8 years, no one knows who the fuck you are. They just know the New Yorker.
Yeah.
That's the problem. A lot of people have have been holding on. They've been holding on to the old guard for so long. They don't know where they go when they're being, strong-armed.
I didn't say it would be easy.
No.
Okay. But I did say people would follow your reputation.
That I agree with you 100%. If they had the balls to do it, it would be fantastic, but it's scary.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes, unfortunately.
And speaking of scary...
Yeah, they might be scared to death.
Yes. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break for a little bit while we get everything else in order for Death Note.
I
for
don't
those who want to sit back, relax, go have a poo. Go have a poo. And come back within about 5 minutes, get some drinkies, and we will get our shit in order.
I'm going to get some coffee for this.
I think I need some coffee too, because I can't. Although this is probably the best thing that is I'm gonna get out of this. I enjoyed this thoroughly, so I'm gonna share this with you guys because it's already up on my screen. Take a look in Discord there.
All right.
That makes me chuckle, and actually made it worthwhile looking this up.
Yeah, that's good.
Let me check it out. By the way, I'm a bit screwed here. I've only got a little bit of time left. How long is this review going to take?
This review is.
I didn't know. I didn't know we were doing a double show today. I didn't know it was going to take.
It's technically not a double show. We are about 10 minutes away from our average runtime.
Yeah.
But this probably could take about 20 to 30 minutes, just because there's
more
to talk about.
Then we should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then
we'll be fine because we're going to be going through.
Because at 4 o'clock I've got. Cool.
Yeah, no. I kind of figured that. That's why I said I wanted to get you guys a little break, get your shit in order because.
All right, I'm gonna take my headphones off and take a pee.
Yeah.
Are we still live?
Yes.
Yeah. You were still live.
Okay.
We heard you that you gotta be taking a pee. Yeah. We heard that you gotta be taking a pee. So go empty that bladder.
I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll be right back.
Alright, so anybody else going away? Remember, everybody, please go to the bathroom because it's the last time you'll ever get. Alright, anything happening in the chat? I've got nothing happening in the chat over here. I would have to look on PeninaChan's, and I'm not going to do that because that's just time waster. In the meantime, folks, it's going to be a little bit of a dead air because I'm going to get something to drink, and I will be back. Oh, somebody's coming back. I don't know who, but... Hold on.
Alright. Intermission over.
Yeah, intermission is over. If everybody here... Roll call.
I believe so.
I know I'm here and you're here. Penina?
Oh wait, my mic's been off this whole time.
Ha 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 ha! So the only one we're waiting for is Pan?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh. So basically, the idea of the game, people, while we wait for Pan, is going to be very simple. We're going to cover the basic 4, maybe 5 main plot points, or at least the between the anime and the live action. For example, we'll be focusing on the book, why it was used in this particular movie, and why it was used in the anime. Light, we'll do L, and we will do probably what else?
I cringe over how bad.
No, again, we've got Light, L, Ryuk, and then we'll do the comparison between both stories, and then would we suggest it to somebody? There's a reason why I'm leaving out Misa and whatever that thing is. Mia was supposed to be
the fucking sociopath.
Because technically, she's related to L in every aspect. Is the reason why L does what he does.
Yeah.
As well as why Light does what he does. So kind of they're interconnected. So those are your 5 basics. 6. So we're going to do the Death Note itself. We're going to go with L. No, we're going to go with Light, then L, Ryuk, and his involvement, and then the basis of the story and would be suggested, which makes it a lot easier than going through this giant rant. We clear it out faster.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, definitely.
I know. Because technically, we could probably sit here for hours telling us, what we liked and what we didn't like, and what was the most bullshittest thing that we've ever seen, and there's a lot that we can go, and how it doesn't fit with the narrative of the original, even with the manga, or even the live-action Japanese.
There is a lot of it, just,
Now, some of this I could forgive as to being Americanized, some of them I could forgive. Some of it.
Well, I look at it this way. I'm going to give Wingard a little bit of a leeway, because we're looking at somewhere close to 36. What is it? 45 half-hour, 45-minute shows. That's way over 12 hours to condense it into maybe an hour and a half. I can see where he tried to take some caveat in some changes, but did he really have to make the changes the way he did?
No.
They were bad changes. They made no sense. He tried his best, and his best wasn't good enough, apparently. Right here, Pen, because I want this over. By the way, people, the only reason why we're covering this abomination that is Death Note Netflix version is because Penn decided to take a couple of days off, and this is punishment for the group. Because I'm a sick, sadistic bastard.
You're an ass.
I know.
What you are.
That's right. That's why I'm a demon, and this is what I do as punishment. For me, it's fun. For you guys, it's hard.
I've tormented myself for years. You're an ass.
I know. This is life that you can't get back.
Hours I can't get back. What the hell are you talking about?
Nah. Yes. So. Now the only question is did Penn do her homework? That would be hilarious if she didn't.
I hate my life.
We all do, but I enjoy the glory that is people's hated lives. Because Antifa makes me funny, makes me giggle.
Yeah,
cringe at
that's
the same
true.
time. They do make me.
I just have to deal with shitty internet connections.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. You sound very well.
Yeah,
We're
you're
just
doing
Yeah,
waiting on-
I know, but I've switched between my phone or my laptop. This is the 5th time now during the show.
I know.
Yeah.
I hear you, sir. I hear you. Because remember,
Yeah.
I usually have the issues with mics, so
Yeah. And you can usually see like my spikes and whatnot, so you can probably see when I've been connecting and when I haven't been.
yeah, I have. I can see that. So
Yeah.
I had to turn everybody down a little bit on my end. I'm gonna play around with the audio later. Once I make this a podcast. Yes, people, we also have a podcast for those who care. It's on Podbean. I have to attend to it.
Hmm.
It is
You must
under the
attend to your
same
garden.
moniker as Gator and Frog. Also, we'll be launching the website. I'm able to convert the web address or the domain to the actual new location. So, yay! We'll have the website up and running, which with all the attachments for all the different locations. So you can go to gatorandfrog.com. Hope you guys know how to spell N because it's a simple N.
Yeah, if you don't, yeah, you don't belong here.
No,
That's
don't feel
right.
bad.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
It's
Fuck
in
anyone who
the
can't spell Anne.
You know, an N, a simple little N. It's the letter. It's lowercase. You can't miss it. It's usually right beside the M or between, the B and the M.
Yeah, under the H.
Yeah, under the H and the J. The HJ.
Yeah. Hey, that's what we call that's what we call our Burger King.
Really?
Well, it's called Hungry Jack's. It's called Hungry Jack's after Jack Cowan, who was apparently hungry at the time.
No. I was thinking HJ for a different thing.
What, do you guys literally have a burger dynasty or burger monarchy that is named after?
Burger King.
Yeah, unfortunately there's a Jack in the Box, there's a Burger King, and there's a McDonald's.
Yeah.
No, but what my joke was that our one's actually named after a guy.
I know yours is like I know. I got the joke. My joke was because of the HJ.
Yeah, I get you.
So we're good on jokes. We got the yak. We're waiting for
but I was I'm
we're
still
waiting for
curious.
the person who thought you yet said will only take us 30 minutes to do.
Right?
Oh no, I want Choco.
Okay, folks. This is the reason why we can't have nice things.
Can we play that?
I thought it was because I steal it and hide it from everyone.
Do we have any intermission music that's royalty free?
I do, but I don't know if I'm able to play it. I would have to. It's one of those stupid things. I would have to pipe through the audio through this machine.
Yeah.
And I don't want to break shit. I've already got shit to work to a point. The chat bar that I have to fix, I have to look at. I had to remove it. No, so I was like, oh my god, there's so many things. So yeah, I'm not gonna.
Oh my god!
I know.
No way!
We're waiting, and I don't know why. Oh wait, yeah.
I know.
She said she was just gonna go away for a few seconds. I said 5 minutes, not 10 years.
I know.
Oh, lady, get over here. Most of us
Bunny!
wanna go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of us have lives.
That we wish to have back.
No, you wish to have your life back. Yes, I know, but it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, sir. I've taken that portion away from you because of my
sadistic side.
Yes.
I was gonna say because of your awesome power.
That works too.
Your awesome throbbing power.
Throbbing. Oh yes, the awesome throbbing action power. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna while I wait. Oh, I hear a sigh. Is that? No, I think that. Anybody? No.
I'm here.
Waiting. I was waiting to see if that was Pan.
No.
It's not. My hopes and dreams are being bashed. It would be the first time it wasn't being bashed.
Yeah.
You almost brought this point.
Only a woman could get away with this.
Really, sir? Really? We're gonna go that? Okay, we're playing that game.
We are. You threw the first card. We are just.
We're just going with it. We're gonna go live. We're gonna do it live.
Hey, the shit I've said on this show. I'm already.
I know. Well, come on. I'm already the racist bastard, so it's all good.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time till I get called some sort of fun name in the world.
Well,
waiting.
I wait for you to be called a fun thing in the world. So I'm not going to do a comparison between the two lights. I'm like I said, picture wise, I'm just going to put up light Yagami, and that's about it. Fuck y'all.
I feel you.
I'm not going to go through that whole bullshit of finding people. Like, fuck it. There you go. We're done. I've got the actual me, the real people. Everything else is bullshit.
Light Turner can go suck a dick.
Yeah.
He'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah, a bag of dicks. He'd probably like a bag of dicks.
Yeah, like, has anyone seen that Cyanide and Happiness cartoon with the guy who gets, that's Light Turner. He's like, what the hell is this?
He's a bag of dicks. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He goes, when you walked in here, you thought, I would like a big bowl of dicks, yummy in my tummy.
Yep.
I did not think that. Get out of here. And then everyone leaves. Oh, God, yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, too bad I wasn't watching. I'm not looking at her stream. I should be looking at her stream to see what people are saying, so we can. What? Is there anybody saying anything?
There's someone talking about the comeback sauce by another name.
The what sauce? There's a comeback sauce?
Apparently.
What comeback
there
sauce?
There is now.
I'm confused. I need to know about this, people. Amuse me while we wait for a person who's supposed to be here.
I thought the comeback sauce was white and salty.
That sauce. Oh, comeback. I get it. No, I don't get it.
I get jokes.
Jokes make no sense. None whatsoever. Jeez. I'm back. I really have to check Penina's chat. These people sound dirty. The people that I might like.
I mean, you're also trusting the one dragon in the room to tell you what's going on in another chat room.
Of course, I have to trust somebody. Then I can.
You're not going to trust me. I have I've barely any internet.
I'm not gonna rely on a goldfish.
Well, the goldfish also has cybernetics, apparently. So.
That's right. He does.
Well, I'm a robot fish. I'm not just a. How else could I survive this?
We gotta keep them alive for as long as we can. We built them. We had the power.
Yeah. We had the ability. We needed it.
You know, there's actually somebody called PeninaChan.
I'm not surprised.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, Rule 34 is not just for art.
No, apparently not. Very interesting. PeninaChan. PenniS Chan. Yeah. I may want to check them out sometime. I want to check them out. I'm gonna go through that.
You may be getting a sub, PeninaChan.
Yes, right now you only have one subscriber. I've just subscribed to you. Now you have two with one video, and it's in Japanese. I think it's. I'm gonna take a look at it. I have no volume on, so I'm gonna look at it and see what we got here. Okay, whoever it is singing. That's hilarious.
Yes, that's an interesting guy. Seriously, Penina's actually fucking me over right now.
I know.
Because I had a tap out time.
I know. Well, since she's away, folks, I guess we'll just jump right into it.
I've returned.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Sorry.
What are you doing?
My coffee maker takes a...
Your internet...
No! Don't blame it on the coffee maker.
Fuck you, coffee maker. Anyways.
I was not going to drink 3-day-old
We were
coffee.
literally about to start without you.
Well then, I guess you could say I have perfect timing then.
Yes. like I mentioned to the weirdos on the chat with us, we are going to be covering the Death Note with at least 5 different stipulations, possibly 6. So Death Note itself, the purpose, light and the comparison between both Turner and Yagami, L, the 2 comparisons of that, Ryu, the difference between the 2 stories, and would we suggest that somebody watch or not?
I would suggest. I'm going to leave that comment for later.
Now, of course.
Yeah.
So, starting off with the biggest thing, the most important thing, the fucking Death Note itself.
Yeah.
Book itself? Oh, we're gonna.
When the book
Let's make it exceedingly obvious what all the rules are and all the things that the book can do, and not, make it any thought for the person who owns a Death Note to put into it. Because that makes it interesting.
You want to know what? Okay, because the original anime Death Note has 10 rules, and plus 13 from Light, which are supposed to be like to throw off the police. Ones that he made up.
Right. As well as there were certain rules that were never placed in the book that Light figured out that even Ryuk didn't. That he could do.
The rules that aren't included
through experimentation and through the Death Note in the anime has 95 different rules.
In the live action for the Netflix version, yes, it has over 95 different rules.
You want to know what I call that? That's that's creative license to say, fuck all, we don't care about the original 10 rules. We're just gonna make shit up so that we can get away with some other stuff.
I mean, I want
and not just that, but we can get away with throwing bullshit ex machinas in there and get away with it.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the biggest part about the Death Note, the actual physical comparisons.
Yes, thank you.
You have the one that's in the three versions of it. We have 3 versions of the Death Note, effectively. We have the anime/manga. We have the live action, both American and Japanese. So there's your 3. Both in the live action, the anime, and the manga, it was a composition. But we got the live action American version, and holy shit, you would have thought it was some sort of ancient fucking catalog journal.
Yeah.
Okay, basically, tradition or the manga, Death Note actually means death, the notebook of death. That's it. Simple. Very straightforward. Why it was called Death Note.
Yeah.
The Americans have decided to take it and make it into a fucking manuscript bigger than you could find an Oxford dictionary almost, and then plop it right in front of a guy.
I was going to say as thick as the Holy Bible. Oh.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It feels like it was thicker, but long and stupid.
Yeah. And ridiculously shitty paper that you couldn't write on because if you tried to, just break.
Correct. Yeah.
I wanted to add that then.
It was clearly recycled paper that they were using because raisin. But between the two, the animated version and the live action, the animated version gave nuance to the Death Note. It had a purpose. It had the power of corruption if allowed.
Yes.
Okay?
I don't necessarily agree with the power of corruption because it's within each of us. We all have corruption in each of us to varying degrees because of our own morals and principles. So it is.
For this, I'm gonna jump us a little bit ahead for this one pin. But what he's talking about and referring to is in the anime. We actually watch Light Yagami go from this high schooler who's bored and he's tired of the boredom and the stagnation of his life. Gets the book. Through the process of actually getting the book, he just gets corrupt as all hell.
But he builds up his memory.
But the deal is that even if he loses his memory, he reverts back to the original Light Yagami before he was introduced to the notebook.
The Light Yagami that would never ever take advantage of a woman's feelings and the other one who would do whatever it takes, you know,
Now,
including that.
speaking-
And sorry, I was gonna add one more thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
There's also
Go ahead.
a statement made that the book compels you to write at least one name in it, and
Yeah,
even
right.
Al felt compelled, even though he knew it could kill him, to write a name in it.
Yes, because again, he wasn't too sure, and regardless of when he found the notebook, it intrigued him enough, and it had enough compellingness to it to urge that he should write a name in the notebook.
But okay, so
Yes.
that I would ask, is that actually the power of the book, or is that the power of human nature out of curiosity? What would happen if
Both.
I did this
It would be both.
thing?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
both.
Think
Both,
about this.
because of the fact
book,
that the idea is the way how it was written, all the information is written out for you in plain English. You look at it and you kind of go, "Oh, that makes sense. Why would anybody write a name in the book?" And then you can see like Yagami put the book down on the ground and was about to walk away. Then we cut to him walking down the street with the book. So it intrigued him enough to pick the book up again and take it with him, and he's reading through it, looking at it.
And then eventually, it convinces him to actually write a name down to test it.
Yeah,
Yep.
because he wanted to know for sure, because his curiosity took him to place. From that point
Yeah.
on, he already had his mindset of what he was going to do if this was true.
No, he did one more test. He did one more test. He tested that guy on the motorbike.
Yes, he
Well,
did.
yes, because you're right, because he didn't know if the first time he wrote the name down actually triggered it or not.
It would actually be true. So he had to. So basically, it's a combination of the two. The corruption was available to it. Every Shinigami has the ability to become corrupted. Henceforth,
Yes.
if they write somebody's name in the notebook that wasn't meant to die, they will die.
No,
That's
if
according
they're
to
meant
the
to
un-
die.
No,
If they do something to actually correspond to, if a
That
Shinigami
person,
writes
yeah.
a name, that
Well,
causes
for example,
someone else to...
the idea was because the other guy that gives Misa his notebook was the factor that he prevented Misa from dying.
Yes.
Yeah,
Killed-
he extended
killed
her
the-
life.
He extended her life when she was supposed to be snuffed.
Yes.
Yeah.
He died.
All right, guys, we're going a little off the rails
I know.
here.
Let's get down to the next part.
Okay.
This is the reason why
Yeah.
we're going back to Light. Light Yagami in this one, we already defined him. Light Turner is the complete opposite of Light Yagami. Light Yagami in this case is a very
May
prim,
I?
proper, handsome individual. Light brown hair, very, very stunning brown eyes that are enhanced with the red that he's got. When we look at Light
Yeah.
Turner, he's none of these.
Yeah, short, stocky, not very athletic, not overly intelligent, like maybe average, more smarter than the average kid, or maybe even book smart, but he's not exceptionally intelligent. He's not very good with book. Go. Sorry.
And one more, and also the moral compass for the two is also completely different.
Thank
That's where I
you.
was gonna go. Thank you. I was going to go in that direction. Like Yagami was very just, very noble, and he was very law-abiding. Where like Turner was already corrupted at the beginning before he even gets to the notebook.
Yeah, Light Yagami would never dream of selling cheap.
Cheats
Yeah.
to
Other
high
kids.
schoolers or whatever, to other kids.
Things just for petty cash.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, not just
As
that.
well as... Go ahead.
Well, not just that.
Yeah, but dream of it.
Yeah, no,
if you
but
look,
go ahead.
if you look how the two lights approach the Death Note, completely different. Turner just picked it up and was like, "Huh," took it. Light had to actually do a double take to actually pick it back up. But it took Light only a few hours, a whole day basically, to actually use the notebook, while it took Turner to actually be forced pretty much to write a name in it.
Yeah, at least a couple of times.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next point, the actual holder of the Death Note, Ryuk. Ryuk in the anime or the Japanese live action or even in the manga, he is there as a watcher. He's pretty much bored of the Shinigami world, and this is a form of entertainment for him because he's bored. and he wanted to know what would the humans do with a power of a death god.
Yeah,
He doesn't promote light Yagami to write a name in the book, unlike the Ryuk in the live action where he
encourages it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good word.
And then not just that, but also he just, but also that he was just bored senseless with it. He was bored senseless with the Shimigami world because, as he said himself, it was rotting. No one really does anything. All they do is play games all day. He wanted some sort of like different experience, you know.
Also,
so a big part of it was like just.
But also,
bored.
Ryuk in the anime version also pointed out that Light using the DeathNote in the way that he was using doesn't make him into a god. It made him into the worst human being possible.
Yeah, it made him to the only bad guy left.
Where the Ryuk in the live action seemed to be more or less like the devil.
Yeah, exactly. He was very much a corrupting force and was very much pushing towards like, I want to make as much dead people as I possibly can, and I think you'd be good at it.
Yes.
The thing that killed me about it was also the other core thing that the animes, manga, and live action.
What the hell is that noise?
Nemo.
Sorry, that was me.
Oh, Nemo's the one that's making all those crunchy noises. Okay, I kind of figured we'd be the fish.
Yeah.
But no, Ryuk in the anime, the manga, and the live action. Not only did he tell Light that he would not ever, but the rules he didn't write in were, 1, whoever uses the DeathNote will never go to heaven or hell. But he also told Light that you yourself, for using it, I will make sure your name is the one in my book.
Correct.
Yeah.
While the Ryuk in the live action, American version, pretty much twisted Light's arm the whole time to use it, and at the same time, if he ever threatened to give it up, he basically would threaten that, Light's going to be the first name written by the next person who gets it.
Yes. The other problem I have was with the live action for Ryuk was the factor that he liked that other chick that's supposed to be Misa.
Yeah.
Renamed Mia for the American version.
Yeah, because Misa isn't very American.
No, Misa is never very American. But the American version, she seemed to be more like Kira than the Kira that was supposed to be like Turner.
Well, I would say she's not even that because her motivations weren't very noble. Because Light was the one that wanted to make a better world, wanted to create like some sort of benevolent god and all this other stuff, when she was really more just of a sociopath. She just wanted to see people get killed that were bad people. It was really more of a some sort of what would you call it, like lawful evil person, like anyone that's bad deserves to be
lawfully evil. Yes,
because
Light Turner went from being truly lawful. Well, in this case, should I say, like Yagami, where it was more or less an unlawful truth kind of aspect of D&D, to chaotically evil almost, because he was kind of within just the same aspect, but just reversed of it.
I would have said Light Yagami was more of a lawful evil, or from lawful good to lawful evil.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah. Lawful good, lawful evil.
Well, the Turner Light went from
chaotic good.
No, I would say chaotic neutral. Almost.
Yeah.
Basically.
But if anything. Go.
I was gonna go. If anything, he went from being desperately horny to very satisfied.
Yeah. But I will make this. Yeah. One of his motivations was, to get the girl. But I would argue that the Notebook actually made him a better person from start to end.
That I would give, because of the fact that was the only saving grace out of that, because you can see that he was turning a little bit, seeing how the Notebook is corrupting both of them in a way.
Yeah.
Well, but not just that, but I don't think the latest version of him would have sold cheat sheets or anything like that anymore, because he would have saw that as extremely petty. Like, I think it made him grow up and made him realize, wait, the world's way bigger than I thought it was,
Speaking of bigger world,
that's just a thought now. I'm just bringing that up. I think it's the only time when the DeathNote has improved a person. because everyone else had fucked up.
No,
Yeah.
speaking of fucked up and improved, we're gonna go to L.
Oh god.
L in the animated version of the manga, he is a little bit more highly intelligent. He is completely opposite of Light Yagami, where Light Yagami is very prim and proper. This particular person is very disheveled, very messy,
and eccentric and odd.
Very eccentric, very odd. Everything about him just makes no sense, yet he has the same amount of intrigue and intelligence. Both of them are exactly the same, but the opposite side of the coin.
Yeah, and I would argue that Al's a lot smarter than Light, in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways,
he definitely thinks about his actions more. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get emotional.
I would say this. L probably could have and would have figured out for sure it was Light without much help, whereas Light needed the help of Ryuk and Rem in the anime in order to try to get rid of L.
Well, basically the deal is that L figured out who Kira was, which was Light Turner. Problem is he couldn't really prove it. Light Turner, not Light Turner, in this case, Light Yagami, knew kind of who L was to a point, but he couldn't get his name.
Yeah.
That was the cat and mouse game in this case. So he had to use what he knew of the playing field, so he played Ram to kill L.
Yes.
And what's in it? Or whatever.
Watari. Yeah. So, it's okay.
Not watery. Not watery. Watari.
Watery. Oh, no. Fuck you.
Watari. Watari.
Hey, I'm not Japanese. I'm not pronouncing it your way, okay? You just stick it up there.
Here's one comparison for both the L's. I'm going to say this.
Okay.
They may have both been intelligent, but the American live-action L had two biggest differences that made him on a lower scale version of the original L. One was he took a risk that the original L never would have done. To prove his own theory, L actually sacrificed the other L, the anime L, sacrificed a prisoner to determine that it was a face and name that was needed to kill. While L in the live action had to actually went in front of live action people doing a press conference, having his face pretty much completely covered to prove his point.
Not just that, right, but let's also add that Al did the added smart thing of saying it was broadcast to the whole world when only broadcasting to a very small region of the world to really, narrow down the list of suspects.
Because he was going to go from region to region until he figured out exactly where Kira was.
Yeah, he started in Japan because he felt Japan was the starting point.
Because they had lots of evidence for that.
Yeah. Well, the other L used leaked information into different police departments to track Kira down.
Yeah.
He was suspecting that Kira was using...
and I will say, am I the only one surprised that the L, even in the American version, doesn't have access to that type of thing, considering how high of a... If he's got connections with the FBI, surely he's got connections with police databases. You would think he wouldn't need to hack. No, so why did he hack it when he wouldn't need to? Just to prove that he can?
Yeah, basically. That was kind of questionable with the American version of L because I never understood him. He was, though, had some of the aspects of the Japanese version of L. He had a lot of different quirks that made no sense, or at least ideas that didn't fit.
His reaction, the two L's had a completely different reaction to how Watery died.
Yes.
The anime, live-action, manga-based versions, L was affected, but he didn't just turn to Light and just be like, full focus, I've got to kill him now. It was...
No, he didn't, but if it was a little earlier when there was more evidence towards Light being Kira, and if he had a little bit more time to prevent Watery's death... We don't know how Al would have behaved in the anime. He may not have done that, went that crazy, but I definitely think he would have got emotional for the first time.
Yes, but here's the thing, though.
The problem is that we
L-
won't know because of the factor that both of them died within minutes of each other.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know how
Whereas-
really would have behaved if he could have
Yeah.
saved Watery and stopped Kira at the same time.
Correct. Now, going further beyond that, is this? Let's see. We've already kind of covered the differences between the two shows for the most part. Is this something you would suggest to somebody?
Nope.
No. No. Okay, no. You know what? I'm going to be fair. If you've never seen the anime, watch it. Because it's not a terrible show, but it's bad compared to the anime.
Okay, I won't recommend it because my mom, who never seen the anime, the manga, or the Japanese live action, saw this, and she looked at me and she was like, "This is horrible."
I wouldn't recommend it for similar things, like even if you didn't watch the original anime and you just wanted to watch this solely as an independent thing. The reason why the original anime of Death Note worked was because of its time period. The internet was still a new thing. There's a theory video out there. I don't know if it's actually a Treesicle or if it's MatPat film theory or something. There is a theory video out there basically saying that Kira could not do as much damage as this film portrays him doing for as long as he does without being caught, for the simple fact that 4chan exists, and if they can find Shia LaBeouf's flag within like 2 days out in the middle of nowhere using Star Charge, they can most likely find Kira and yeah, turn him over into police. So time period is basic. Time period and technology available definitely affects all that.
No, and yeah, I think that's a fair theory. But I don't know. Like, as much as I don't like the show because I have to compare it to the anime because it's a successor, I think on its own merit, it's not like terrible. It's not great, but it's watchable.
Yeah.
You know, it is. It's not like the acting with Ryuk and the acting with the father alone makes it halfway decent.
Correct.
And the cinematography and some of the effects make it pretty decent. Like that Ferris wheel scene is a cool scene.
All I can see is whenever Ryuk talks, all I see is Green Goblin from the first Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's pretty basically it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my conclusion for all of you is Beth a clone or not?
Yes. And I'd love to explain this. I will actually explain this in detail next week because I've got to go now.
Correct. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the show. Death Note is something to avoid. If you are very daring, please go watch it. It's on Netflix. You can find it. It's somewhere.
And if you do find yourself watching it on Netflix, they actually have the anime on Netflix too, so you can actually do a comparison of the two.
Not just take our word for it.
If you hate it that much...
Night, Nemo.
If you guys hate it that much, please send me all your death threats. I will enjoy each and every one of them, and if anything kind of amuses me, I might post them.
Are you saying
on that note,
are you saying you want to hear other people's death notes to you?
Yes, please. I'll be in my glory.
So
you can find me. So basically, where we're gonna find everybody, we know Nemo kind of took off.
Yeah.
Nemo is beyond
the ocean somewhere.
Beyond politics.
Correct. We'll put that on the bottom somewhere. Links on the bottom for all of us for the most part. Correct.
In a second, yes.
Okay. Any closing words? That
good
sounds
afternoon.
Good to me.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Have a nice one.